Oh, hello, yeah! Hooray for the weekend! Yay! Sunshine! Yay! Weekend! Yay! Stuff to do! Yum! Anyway, good, yes. Well, fallout from your party still isn't, well, doing anything other than continuing to fall out in a kind of, my God, and my hair's going to fall out and my gums will start bleeding. Yes. Splitters, etc. People's Front of Judea and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Really, really astounding. Of course, the difference is, though, that, we get to see this stuff pretty much in real time in ways that we don't mostly with other parties, because they do tend to hide all of this stuff. Yeah, all your Morgan McSweeneys aren't going to do anything out in the open, are they? Oh, no, of course not. I don't think he's long of this world. Anyway, yesterday brought up some interesting news about, well, Nigel Farage and the Reform Party and all of those very, very, very invested in the working class types that are, well, investing in for reform. We had this. Reform UK receives a £100,000 donation from design firm that face winding up petition. Interior Design Landscape, which faced closure by HMRC earlier this year, made donation in June. Yes, indeed, dodgy money going to reform. But reform have a certain level of previous in this. We might well think about they were salivating when the idea was that Musk might well just bung them 12 billion trillion squillion pounds to just buy anything they wanted to, perhaps deciding against it in the way that he does. He often makes promises like that, like, he'll give the people of the world, decent drinking water and then buys Twitter instead. Still, at least, those are the kind of things that our lovely elites, or non-elites in his case, very, very concerned about the working class people, do indeed, yes. So I think we will see quite a bit more of this if you actually look, because the mainstream media will not touch this with a barge pole, will they? No. But there is a lot of previous form, like I've said, with this. You may recall a long time ago, when we're all supposed to forget about things like how rubbish Brexit is, that Nigel Farage gifted Boris Johnson his 80-seat majority by, first of all, saying to loads of people that they could stand as candidates, charging them for the right to do so, and then just deciding on a whim that, they can just spaff all their time, money and effort up against the wall. Left a lot of people with, some quite bad feelings. Still, never mind, there's always plenty more suckers on the horizon, and history does seem to be repeating itself with this. We did have to smile at this. Reform Senate election hopeful quits party have been blazing rout over rigged election process. Yes, indeed, very much like the Labour Party. Yeah, you see, I can slag off the Labour Party and I can slag off Jeremy Corbyn because, I'm not stupid. Anyway, they do like to just decide who's going to be the candidate. So, the latest one you may have heard was that that lovely, gorgeous and pouting Jeremy Kyle wants to be a candidate. And who wouldn't want him as your MP, eh? God, yes. A man so sympathetic to the working class, you may recall that he drove some of them to suicide on his show in the name of entertainment. Allegedly. Except, of course, they did actually commit suicide, didn't they? Yes. But this is the Reform Party. They will swear blind to you that, that they're definitely on your side, and at the same time they'll pocket your money and walk away whistling, and you will never see it again. Well, you can turn up to their conference, but you can't vote on anything, can you? Still, never mind, with their constitution, that once they've got 100 MPs and everyone's agreed they're around the board table that Nigel's a great guy, then, you still won't ever say either, will you? That's the way those things work. Yes. Anyway, apropos of nothing, I did have to smile at this from David Frost, just in terms of our very palsied debate. The West has entered a new era of red terror. Yes, the political murder of a figure like Charlie Kirk. Yes, it's him inevitably, the way he'll crop up like, all those historical martyrs like Horst Wessel do. There is historic sympathy for violence on the far left, and you can read the article yourself, but I do love the way that Lord Frost is very, 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 very picky about examples that he chooses, and most of them are about insurgent groups rather than actual, governments like he takes part in. And the irony of all of this, I think, from Lord Frost is summed up by the fact that he's reasonably heavily involved in the Danube Institute, which is very, very closely tied to those very, very, very definitely very democratic forces within Orban's Hungary. Yes, lots and lots to tell us, doesn't he, about democratic movements on behalf of the people and indeed not supporting violence, because of course Lord Frost wouldn't do that, even though he was involved heavily in government that do, after all, make those kind of decisions. Yes, you might well not like Jeremy Corbyn, but he's not a heavily violent man, is he? No. Still, never mind, just cherry pick your examples. After all, that Stalin was a bad guy, that Mao was a bad guy, and that Pol Pot was a bad guy. We mustn't talk about anything else. Otherwise, you're just, you're just trying to decolonise history, aren't you? Anyway, do have a lovely day, and do remember, if you're going to give money anonymously, best to do it through a shell company, and that way hopefully those nasty lefties won't actually spot it. But by God, they will if it's big enough, won't they? Still, I'm sure the working class will go forwards with a new reform leader, like into that golden sunset. I mean, Nigel wouldn't sell out the working class, would he? No. Definitely, well, probably.